Hello, everyone. Welcome to Your Health in Your Hands. I'm your Dr. David Ajibade, your host, and we will be continuing our discussion on commanding heights and inflammation. And again, I have to apologize. I know there were lots of questions when we talked about inflammation. People asking, calling, sending text messages, and all that. And I'm sorry if we were not able to get through to you, all of you, and we'll continue to try. Just remember, if you want to catch up on any of the videos that we have done in the past, you can go to the NTA website, or you can go to our website as well, which is brainandbodyfoundation.org, brainandbodyfoundation.org, and you'll see the videos archived on both sites. Again, thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for staying with us and following. Your responses and your interactions are really, really, really great. Again, I apologize. We cannot get to all your questions every time, but we will try. All right. As we said, we're continuing our discussion on commanding heights. And if you remember, when we started talking about it, we said that there are key things, there are key processes, there are key nutrients, there are key needs that the body must have in order to survive and in order to thrive. Survive, of course, is paramount. Thriving, of course, is secondary. But if you don't have these things in adequate amounts, you're either dying or you're dead. And of course, we started with the first one being oxygen. You've got to have oxygen. Your body cannot survive oxygen for more than a few minutes or a few hours. The brain, 4 minutes, 5 minutes tops, is going to die without oxygen. Next thing, of course, is water. But I just want to run through them, and then over this next few sessions, we're going to address each of them as much as we possibly can within the time allotted. So, next thing is water. We talked about this before. You need water for dilution, water to improve blood flow, water to hydrate. Your cells are 70% water. We'll get to it more later on. The next thing is oxidative stress. What is known as oxidative stress? I will explain that some more. We talked about inflammation. The next thing, nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide, NO production. Absolutely critical for cardiovascular. That's cardiovascular means the heart and the blood vessels. For cardiovascular function. And if you remember, we emphasized over and over and over and over and over again that the black people in particular are more prone to cardiovascular disease and diabetes as well. So that's very important. And then number 6, hormonal balance. That's the balance of your hormones, whether your sex hormones or whether it's your thyroid hormones or other hormones. These hormones are what kind of give you the experience, help determine the quality of your life, quality of your sleep, quality of your emotions, quality of your feelings and your thoughts, quality of your pain. We'll get to that some more. And number 7, vitamin D3 levels. 3 years ago, I would never have thought it was so important. But after having studied the theory for many years and then coming back to Nigeria and understanding the crucial role vitamin D3 plays, not just in bone health, which we all know about, but also in brain health and also in cardiovascular health and also in immune health. I've come to realize that, yes, indeed, vitamin D3 is one of commanding heights, the crucial pillars of human function and human health that we cannot, especially we as black people, we cannot afford to ignore. So stick with me as we go through these things. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. So when we're talking about the human body, we're really talking about 12 to 13 systems, major systems in the body. Of course, you have the nervous system, cardiovascular system, the bone and the skeletal system, reproductive system. About 12 systems. You probably remember that from anatomy. From biology in secondary school. But there are 3 systems that probably are the most important. And so when we're talking about commanding heights and we're talking about the nutrients and the things that the body needs the most, we're talking about them primarily in regards to these 3 systems, and I call them together. We call it the central governing system. You've probably seen this from past videos and shows we've done. But the brain or the nervous system, the endocrine system, and the immune system, these three control and regulate all the other systems and all the other functions in the human body. So you've got to start here when you're trying to say, let's see how these pillars or these commanding heights affect the human body. Because if you fail here, if you fail in this system, you will fail in your health. There's no way, I'm going to say this again, there's no way you can be physically healthy if any of these three systems is not working like it should. So you pay attention to that. Now, the brain regulates the hormones, regulates the immune system. 98% plus of all disease is because of a failure of one or more of the systems. So you've got to get them right. So we're going to talk about how to protect, how to nourish, how to make these systems work like they should. And I'm going to say this here. I'm going to give you a prompter because it's not just about these three systems. If you think about it, the immune system, and I've said this before, the immune system, 70 to 80% of your immune system resides in the digestive system or the gastrointestinal system. So we have it labeled as GIT. So 70 to 80% of your immune system resides in your digestive system. Now, we didn't know this in medical school. I'm not sure it's even being taught or emphasized like it should. But if you're talking about boosting and improving the immune system, you cannot not talk about the digestive system and about healing and ensuring that your digestive system is working. So that's the fourth system we have to add to this whole process. The fifth and final system is a no-brainer, because without the heart and the blood vessels, you are not existing, right? Because the cardiovascular system, CVS, the cardiovascular system is what helps to supply blood and therefore oxygen and water and nutrients and everything else to your three systems and to your whole body, the other 9 or 10 systems as a whole. So these are the 5 systems you want to pay the most attention to when you are living, while you are living. Again, if you neglect them, especially these 3, if you neglect them, you are not going to be healthy, I can guarantee you. So I'm just going to, this is on my mind now, so I want to quickly throw it out. What's happening with the modern diet? In fact, they call it the SAD diet because it's SAD. Standard American Diet is the acronym, Standard American Diet, and that's what a whole lot of the rest of the world is going after now. Hamburgers, hot dogs, fries, French fries. I don't know why they call it French fries, but zero carbs, sweeteners, substitute sweeteners instead of sugar. You have the Coke, the pop, soda, and all the alcohol. So you're seeing a lot of these things rise to the fore in many developing countries, and we're taking a lot of those unnatural preservatives, meats, and all those things. All those things are creating a huge burden on our brains, on our bodies. A burden that our brains and bodies were simply not designed or created to handle. And so that is why there's an explosion of what they call the lifestyle diseases today. Simply because our bodies were simply not built to handle these things. And so it behooves us even more as Africans, as Nigerians, to understand the fundamentals, how our bodies work, what keeps them working, what they need to keep on working, what they are made of, and how to protect them so that we don't fall prey to many of these diseases. And so going back to this board here, just going back to the system, the pillars of health. So you think about it, let's start with oxygen, because we did the immune system last time. So let's start with oxygen. Oxygen, the human brain, like we said earlier, the human brain is about it cannot survive for more than 4 minutes without oxygen. So you must ensure that you have adequate oxygen. As a matter of fact, the atmosphere we breathe, 21% of it is made up of oxygen. They say now that in cities, especially in highly polluted cities like Beijing in China, Los Angeles in America, no, I'm not so sure about Abuja. Lagos probably more because it's so much more industrialized. They're saying that oxygen concentration in the atmosphere is less than that 21%. As a matter of fact, it's down to like 15%, in some cases 10%. So we are not getting enough oxygen. The fact that you're breathing, the fact that you wake up in the morning does not mean that your body, your cells are getting enough oxygen like they should. As a matter of fact, the standard thing they do in hospitals, it doesn't matter in the Western world, they say the most widely used medicine in Western hospitals is oxygen, believe it or not. Why? Well, it's simple and straightforward. If you're compromised, if your health is compromised in any way, it simply means that your cells, amongst other things, your cells are not getting enough oxygen. Oxygen is what your cells need to survive. Oxygen first. Fluids, water, secondary. But oxygen first. So what they found out is simply by providing your body, ensuring that anybody who is compromised, sick, or in an emergency situation, maybe from trauma or has an infection, the first thing they do is get oxygen mask on or put the oxygen cannula tube in so that they can optimize their oxygen supply. Now, this doesn't apply in every single case, but in most cases, you need oxygen. And they found out that by increasing the oxygen supply, the patient has a better chance of survival and recovering from disease. In fact, there are Nobel Prizes that have been awarded. I know one in particular that was awarded for the discovery that the body needs oxygen, and that the more oxygen the cells have, the healthier the cells can be. The less oxygen the cells have, the less healthy the cells will be. So that's extremely, extremely important. I know it's a challenge in African countries where we don't have standard hospitals are not equipped with oxygen in every single circumstance, and that's something that we're going to have to keep on working on. But oxygen is so crucial, and as I was saying, there are conditions. There have been Nobel Prizes awarded just for the study of oxygen and its importance to the human body. They have found that people who have great oxygen supply to the cells and tissues of their bodies tend to have, and by the way, that term is high oxygen tension, they're less apt to have chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, pneumonia, things like that, because their cells are strong, they have the oxygen that they need. People who have low oxygen tension tend not to do as well. The same thing with disease and infections. They found that infections, harmful bacteria and fungi, and think about it, athlete's foot, it's as a result of a fungus that grows between the toes. And it grows because there's not much oxygen there. It's damp, it's soggy, it's always closed up, so there's not much air and oxygen going to those places. So oxygen is crucial, not just for human health, but also to keep pathogens, to keep cancer cells, to keep bad stuff at bay. Now, I have this book here, which during one of my last trips to the United States, one of the doctors gave this to me, and it was basically, the title of the book is Flood Your Body with Oxygen. Now, this is a tome. This is a big book. I haven't even gone through half of it yet. But the key point they were making was that it's now possible to actually find ways to give your body more oxygen. They talk about ozone, they talk about hydrogen peroxide. As a matter of fact, they're using things like hydrogen peroxide in places like Rwanda and Uganda, where there's a lot of Ebola. You've heard about the Ebola Crisis, of course. And they're finding out that just by giving people who have been infected with Ebola, they give them the right amounts of hydrogen peroxide and ozone. They found a way to put that ozone into fluids and be able to make them breathe it. They found ways to increase oxygen supply in the cells and tissues of the body, and with that, they're improving their health and turning things around. Now, of course, this is not something you can just do at home. There's a technique to it. Of course, it's medical intervention, but expound on the fact that oxygen, once supplied to the cells and tissues of your body, once supplied in ample amounts and in good amounts, you will find that you'll be healthier, you'll be stronger, you'll be more vibrant as a human being. So that's about oxygen. In the next session, we're going to talk about water, and then we'll move on from there. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Your Health in Your Hands. We are talking about the commanding heights, and we've spoken about oxygen, the importance of oxygen to the human body, the importance of oxygen in sickness and in health, and it cannot be overstated. We're going to be talking about water and free radical damage in this last segment. Water is 70% at least proportion of your cells is made up of water. Extremely important for several metabolic processes. People who are dehydrated tend to have more toxins, they tend to be more sick, they tend not to be able to function like they should. Water cannot only be gotten from just by drinking water, by taking leafy greens and vegetables, because they also have, and fruits of course, they have water content. So don't think that you have to drink huge gobs and gobs and gobs of water. But it's very, very important that you keep yourself hydrated day in, day out. And that is extremely important, especially in the case of sickle cell disease patients. As you know, we deal with the Brain and Body Foundation. We do a lot with sickle cell disease, and we've gotten some tremendous results just from studying how best to improve body functions. One of the things that we point out the most, and if you were in our show with Auntie Debola talking about sickle cell disease, 61-year-old lady, her number one thing she said, 61-year-old patient who has lived her whole life with sickle cell disease, the number one thing she said is that you've got to keep on drinking water. It's more important for people who are compromised in that way, sickle cell disease, and you need in other kind of conditions, in other kind of conditions as well. You got to start with fluids. That's why the second thing they do in hospitals is that after giving oxygen, they got to get a line in and get the fluids in, get that blood flowing. The more fluids, the more fluids you have in your body, the more your blood can flow well, the cardiovascular system, and therefore the blood can flow to the brain, the hormones, and the immune system like they should. You've got to have enough fluids in your body the way they should. We found out that things like migraines, things like lethargy, headaches, they found out in some cases, I'm not saying all, in some cases, it's because the body is dehydrated and the toxins are accumulating, and the body, the water isn't there, the fluid isn't there to dilute the blood or dilute the toxins and help your body get rid of the toxins. So water is so important. I remember, I'm just going to combine what we know about oxygen and what we know about water. I remember I used to play racquetball, which is a variant of squash. Believe it or not, I was state champion in racquetball. I was really, really fit. I mean, I gained a lot of weight, obviously, but I was really, really fit. And I remember somebody gave me this bottle of water, and he said it was enhanced with oxygen molecules. I don't know how they do that, but anyway, bottom line is that it could deliver more oxygen to your tissue, and I drank it, and I was like, he was full of it. But when I took it, I mean, I was amazed. I was 50% more effective. I was, needless to say, I beat my opponents that day, but I felt so good. I felt so full of life and vitality. Again, it was because whatever it did to that water enhanced the oxygen delivery to the cells. So again, it's maybe not available in this country, but just to re-emphasize the importance of water and of oxygen. All right, let's go on to the next one, which is free radical damage. Now, some of you may have heard of antioxidants, or you've heard of oxidation stress, oxidative stress, or free radical damage. I'm going to quickly talk about it without making it too technical. Think about this. Your car, think about a car engine, for instance. The car takes in fuel, it burns the fuel, and it produces motion. It produces energy so that it can move, it can run the functions of the car. All right. In the process of it producing that energy, there are also waste products as a result of the burning of that fuel. That waste product is sent out of the car. If it stays in the car for too long, it will damage the engine and cause trouble. So the exhaust pipe is meant to collect all those waste products and to push them out as gaseous waste through the exhaust pipe. That's why you have pollution in big cities, because of that. All that exhaust, all that pollution, all that bad stuff coming out of the car. Think about it in the same way. The human body is really a machine. It's a biological machine, but a machine nevertheless. Your body takes in glucose, fatty acids, proteins. It burns that up. And when it burns that up, it also produces chemicals. A lot of these chemicals are called free radicals. It's also called oxidative stress. These chemicals, if left in the body, will injure the body and will cause damage. And if you remember our talk on inflammation, we say chemicals can cause damage, and anytime there's damage, there's going to be inflammation. The body responds by inflaming itself. So the body has to produce produce chemicals that can counteract those free radicals, and those chemicals are called antioxidants. Now, research and studies are showing that the balance between antioxidant production and oxidation is what will really determine your health and your longevity. In fact, they study certain animals and certain birds. I believe there's one called the parrot. Is it the parrot? Well, in the family of parrot, though, they found that the parrot produces so much more of the antioxidants, and that's why it's able to live to a very, very long age. There are other animals, too, that they look at and they see how much of the antioxidants they produce. The key antioxidant, we have a lot of different kinds of antioxidants that the body produces, but the key and the most important antioxidant that the body produces is glutathione. Glutathione is on your screen there. Glutathione, your body has to produce it. And so your body's ability to produce glutathione is what will help address the free radicals. So there you have it. The more antioxidants your body is able to make and to counteract it, the free radicals, the healthier you will be. As a matter of fact, as you grow older, let's say after the age of 30, they're finding out your body produces less and less and less of the antioxidants. So it's very important to take fruits and vegetables and supplements that will help boost your antioxidant production and help you live a healthier life. All right, we have to stop here. We're going to continue with the other 4 in another session. And if you have any questions, of course, you can go to our website, brainandbodyfoundation.org. You can also go to the NTA website and catch past episodes of these videos. Till we see you again, God bless, and see you soon.